very noisy. One of the things that is very special in our lives, art is the apex. It is also the highest expression of existence. You know, whatever you might look at that you do, art is the ultimate expression of it. Whether it is helping people, or taking care of a forest, or cooking, or just talking to people. It's an art form. You got to realize that. You got to reprogram your mind. Stop believing that you're not good at art. Everyone is actually an artist, because your body is art. It's constantly creating, rebuilding, transforming various things on a day-to-day basis. Every single time you eat food, every single time you drink water, you breathe air, the body is a miraculous machine transforming all things. And you got to kind of value art more. You got to look at the small things, like even the way you walk. Just everything should be centered upon art. You know, even if you're like a technology guy, or a tech guy, or like a shikaijin, or just like a normal working class person, even the way that you write your email, the little subtle signatures that you use, and the formatting and the fonts and all these different little things, it's all art. You got to realize that. Once you wake up, once you realize that reality is really miraculous and beautiful, constantly, full of so much beauty, then everything you do becomes an expression of your heart's intent. Every action, with every thought, with every word, even your tongue is actually a paintbrush. It's painting your universe, your world. So if you live your life constantly saying beautiful things, just being excessive with appreciating other people, appreciating yourself, thanking the air, thanking the water, thanking existence for all of the things, your words, the sincerity in your words essentially designs a beautiful frequency in your reality, and life just becomes more beautiful. You don't need a lot of money to realize that. You don't need a lot of friends to realize that. You don't need all of these different things to enjoy the beauty of life. Of course, the world is very difficult, very stressful. There's a lot of stress in the world, and there's a lot of deadlines that people have to make, and responsibilities that we have to carry, and it's very difficult. But you just got to look at your life like layers and layers. You got to look at life like layers and layers of weathering patterns. You know what I mean? Weathering patterns. Like nature weathers a beautiful valley. The mountain was formed from volcanoes and time immemorial. Dinosaurs arose and fell, and trees evolved into various species to bring that valley that you walk, you know, sitting down with a cup, drinking some tea, camping with your family. You gotta realize that all beautiful things are formed from violent pain. As bad as that sounds, you gotta look at your own life like a set of weathering patterns, breaking you down, compressing you, shaping you into the unique character that you are, right? So you gotta like embrace it, you know what I mean? You gotta like embrace it. One of my favorite games is this one song. It's called Enjoy the Process. And it's this like racing game that I used to play in the arcade called One Gone Midnight. And I remember the lyrics are just so good. You guys gotta listen to it, but it's something like, enjoy the process, enjoy the process. I don't mind if I fail. I'm just enjoying the process. Like, that's just how you gotta live life, you know what I mean? You just gotta imagine that whatever you do, you're gonna fail at it. And once you enjoy the act of failing and getting back up and recycling that process, that's when your tool sharpens, you know? That's when your tongue gets stronger. That's when your mind starts to pick up more on how to deal with people, how to deal with situations, how to deal with stress, or how to deal with various aspects of life, you know? It's all like, it's just common knowledge. We all know that, but at the end of the day, you gotta remind yourself, you know what I mean? You gotta remind yourself that life is a process to be enjoyed and created, but inevitably you're just gonna like look at some old piece of art that you created and you're just gonna kind of dislike it. You know, like the iterations of evolution, right? Like you look at the creatures that evolve in nature. They're constantly rebuilding themselves, constantly renewing themselves, going through new versions, new specs. Even when you're building a program, it's like new versions, new specs. It's necessary to have flaws in the earlier operating system in order to build to that next level, to that next version of yourself. So, you know, you just gotta look at it like art, you know? But you just gotta look at every single aspect of your life like art. Enjoy the days when you don't shine, you know? Life just naturally forms itself, you know, over time.